King Duran, King Cosmic, rocks it, bomb spit. Just got it off a call, made a call to Tiny Iron, say you know we're gonna brawl when we touch down. We the champions, they let us know, whole team be rocking scandalous, Yes, what's good, folks? We back with another Wrestle Biz episode. We're here kicking things off with an exclusive quarantine edition, lockdown edition, the whole world on quarantine, everything on lockdown right now. And speaking of lockdown, we got somebody who's been known to have it on lockdown. Tiny Iron, half man, half amazing. What's good, fam?
Yo, FONZi, bro. Man, locked up like Acorn up in here, B.
Wait, you talking locked up? I know this must be a difficult one for you because you always in the gym, and all the gyms are closed right now. How's Tiny coping, man?
Bro, it's mad, bro. All my years of living, bro, I've never had this whole lockdown, can't go nowhere, no gym, no nothing, no nothing. Can't even get deliveries, can't even go and get my meat, bro. Can't queuing up for hours to go and get this meat, B. Just
to get some chicken, you gotta wait in the queue for like 20-30 minutes. Yeah, I know.
Man, I'm losing weight out here, bro. I'm losing weight, B.
Well, I can't see the difference. I mean, look at the comparison.
Oh, I'm doing like 1,000 push-ups a day, bro. FONZi, 1,000 push-ups, B.
Wow.
I'm trying to maintain, bro. I'm trying to maintain 1,000 push-ups, bro.
I hear that. Well, you still managing to stay pumped in that, and I mean, one of the reasons why before we really kick things off is even we're having this conversation because we're talking about wrestling. We're talking about the lockdown. We're talking about just the effects that all this has had, not just on us personally, but the whole world. We've seen it, even yourself. I mean, the last time we spoke a couple months ago, you were touring the world doing wrestling. You was out in India, East India, and all that sort of stuff. So it's like
Yeah, man. The whole thing, FONZi, I've messed up the whole schedule out the window, bro. All them dates booked, all them promotion that was already written in place has just complete halt. Everything has stopped, bro. Everything is just completely stopped, man. Mess up man's money and everything.
Yep, I know this. Well, I mean, speaking of that, we're talking about messing up money. Do you get a wind of some of the stuff that's been going on in the WWE? We've seen quite a bit of firings and stuff like that recently.
Yeah, bro. That means no one's safe, bro. Nobody's safe, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're letting big WWE, multi-million this, $1 billion this, but they're letting people go, man. Letting wrestlers go, bro. So
I mean, how does that make you feel, man? Because even for me, myself, even for music, it's crazy because there's so much that's throwing things in the air, even for artists and musicians right now. Everybody's kind of like, where's the business going? A huge part of wrestling's always been about, the crowd, having the fans there, live shows, fan interaction. Even yourself, you do all the Comic Cons and things like that, but everything's on a big pause now, no?
Yeah, man. So now we're watching WWE with no crowd in the stadium. I mean, I don't know how they're doing it, bro, because me jumping in the ring with no crowd just feels like it just doesn't feel right, bro. So I don't know how these guys, or I don't know how they have to. I don't know if they have to, but for some reason they still got to go in the ring and produce the shows. But the quality without the crowd, you can see the crowd was a big part of the show, bro. I mean, without the crowd, it's dead, bro. It's dead.
Yeah, I mean, some people have said,
no atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere it's definitely not the same without the crowd. It's missing a lot of the atmosphere.
Dead, bro.
I think to myself, it sort of looks like
to be a crowd, man.
It looks like training, like you're watching a training session.
There we go. Yes, it's like you're bro, it's like you're training, like you're doing some training match behind closed doors, bro, with your mate or with part of the roster. Just training. I don't know how they get themselves. I don't know how. Even the entrance. Sometimes when you watch it, they're looking to the left and right like the crowd's there.
Yeah, I think some of that stuff's a bit crazy because it doesn't really. I mean, I know kayfabe and everything's gone out the window, but I don't think it does the business that much justice nowadays. Where you're coming out playing to a crowd that isn't there. A huge part of wrestling really needs a crowd. I do respect that they're sort of been able to go out, some of them, and do, stiffer matches or put on matches that look a bit stiffer. But
what the thing is, WWE is the champs, so whatever they do, everybody else is gonna follow. You know, AEW, they're doing the same thing. The only difference is, the only difference, AEW, they're using the rest of the wrestlers in the crowd, and they're turning down the house light, so it's a lot darker in there. So they've added a bit more atmosphere. You know, they did a bit to add a bit more atmosphere. The thing with WWE is it's so rigid, but they still trying to keep the rigid stuff with no crowd. You know, they still wrestling like WWE wrestling style. They still look into the crowd like they would. They still on the mic like they would. They still, and it's like you can't just you can't just Photoshop out the crowd.
Yeah, and they got that new champion now, Drew McIntyre.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because for the first time ever, you know, we've seen WrestleMania, and even yourself, you've been involved in the wrestling business. They say for every wrestler, you know, WrestleMania is their big dream, it's the top of the mountain. So, I mean, for Drew,
the Champions League of Wrestling, bro, WrestleMania, man. So, for me, man, I don't know, man, to be the champion now when it's just an awkward moment, man. It's an awkward moment for him. I personally think.
I mean,
champion right now.
It's a shame, definitely, because I got a ton of respect for Drew, and even from where he sort of come from to where he is now. I remember when he used to come out before, and he had that the old theme music, Broken Dreams, and he used to come in, not like Randy Orton, he used to walk to the ring slow, and he had a certain kind of mystique about him, but it was like a mid-carder. He was never like, you know,
I tell you a story, bro. Back, what was it, 2000, maybe 2005, I had a WWE trial.
Okay.
It was me, Rob Terry, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, wow.
All four of us in the WWE trial, 2005.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
2005. So I remember him at the trial. So from that point onwards, he just, you know, so
what?
I didn't really follow too much. But when I realized, wow, that's the same guy that was, you know, in the trial 2005. I was like, wow, he's come a long way still.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
I mean, even just to touch on that, because I didn't, you know, I know you've gone a different route, you know, touring on the Indies and working for a huge promotion out there in France. But how crazy is that you've gone the indie way, but how crazy is that you know, even looking back now and you see guys that have gone the WWE way, and you've seen, I mean, even Rockstar Spud. I remember we put Rockstar Spud together working with you at a show before. Yeah. So, I mean, the crazy.
Bro, you're like NSW, bro.
NSW. Yeah.
Put Rockstar Spud on the map.
Yep.
Definitely, bro. Because we brought the equalizer. You brought the equalizer to the show.
Matt Morgan, man. You know, Big Matt, and peace to Matt Morgan, man, and all that. From there, you know, he went on to do things in TNA and, you know, WWE and stuff from there. But, you know, we seen a video from Spud recently where, you know, obviously it's hit him hard, is upset, and, you know, as a guy we know locally, somebody went out there, you know, worked hard, hit his dreams, and then, you know, for something like this. How do you feel looking? Do you think maybe it was a good thing for you not to go to WWE route and sort of stick with the Indies, or do you think, you know, there's not much safety in there as much as some people think that there is, or is it just down to the pandemic, you think?
Look, man, I think just going by my experience, bro. Hold on. Just going by my experience, bro, I just think a lot of these wrestlers, WWE wrestlers, aren't no $1 million, aren't doing this whole $1 million contract thing with £1 million in their pocket, living that life of luxury. That's what I believe, man. So when you see Rockstar Spud, what name do you go by now? I saw a different name on it.
In WWE goes by the name Drake Maverick, because they gotta give everybody their own gimmick so they can own the licensing and everything.
I just believe that you know, when they pull the plug, the reality kicks in, man. That $1 million, you think what people think you have, I don't think they really have. Not most of them, and they come back to reality, man. You know.
Well, I mean, we see even myself in the music business, like a lot of industries, a lot of times the money's there while you're, while you red hot and while you're working and stuff, and then it can change as the job or as your situation changes. What I think is crazy is some people say there's, it's definitely a cost cutting measure because they let go Kurt Angle, they let go a few backstage agents, Rusev, and which is quite surprising. But I mean, what do you think of that angle with Rusev, man, and Bobby Lashley and Lana?
Yeah, I'm shocked because I'm shocked at Rusev and Angle because they're big players, man. They've been in there. They're doing some big storyline. Rusev and Kurt Angle. So I'm kind of shocked that they let them go as well. I'm like, right, okay, they're not mucking around. Yeah, there must be some proper team. WWE might have no money. I mean, how can they have no money? How can you be a multi-billion-dollar company have no money to pay?
Yeah, I think they got money, but they can't happily spend certain amounts of money anymore. I mean, one thing with WWE, they've always been a bit more financially smarter than some companies, hence why they was able to stay in business. And WCW, ECW, a lot of the other guys, they've all gone out of business. But
FONZi, come on, you can't be a billion dollar company like you call it and let go of 10 men just to make your pocket feel better. Come on, that don't make no sense.
No, of course not. I think what it shows us is, especially with this pandemic and everything, how easy things can change. Like if somebody takes a big hit, their whole company can change. I mean, Vince was just getting ready to do this XFL, which was something he tried back in the day, which was like a new sort of football sports sort of league, and he's had to file bankruptcy on it because he's put a lot of money into it. But realistically speaking, there's not going to be a lot more, live stuff like that. So it's with WWE, maybe it's different because he got a lot of sponsors and stuff. But we know these guys, even with business, you can go bankrupt to still have money. Look at Donald Trump; he's been bankrupt a bunch of times, and now he's the president.
Bro, I just hope that these guys saved their money, bro. I don't know what money they got or how much their money they were getting, but I hope these guys saved their money and done something with it, man. Because right now they're gonna go back to square one on the indie circuit,
Well,
nothing's guaranteed,
And how long will it take? How long will it take for the indie circuit to build back up? Is it going to be a big payoff for them as well?
Yeah.
Would they have,
So that's going to be out for a while. So for them, man, I just hope that they save their money and done something with their money because
a few of them have just started having families and stuff as well. You've had Mike and Maria and Kanellis, they were let go. They, recently had kids and stuff. So, a lot of people are saying the same thing. They're concerned of how their families and stuff going to do.
Yeah, I don't know if they got mortgages. I don't know how they're living at them. Are they living in an apartment or a big mansion? I don't know.
It really depends with what level you're at, especially maybe some of the NXT guys are at a lower sort of tier and stuff. But
that's what I'm trying to say, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. So it might be back to. I mean, I think you know what. I just think, like if being an independent circuit, I don't get no guaranteed. There's no guaranteed money. There's no guarantee. I don't get no contract. It's not like, we're going to pay you every bloody week or every month. This and that. So I had to make do and juggle and do things on the side just to get that paper right, just to make sure the money's right, pay my bills and pay for my house.
Of course,
so, most of these guys got comfortable on the paycheck, on that guaranteed money every month.
Yep.
And now we pulled away. It's like, what did they do?
Well, I mean, we saw the video with Rockstar Sputter, not to make light of it, but he was very upset. He was, he was in tears, man. He was
right, bro. I mean,
yep, he was hit hard.
You got used to that money, bro. He was out there. How many years has he been there? 5 years?
Yeah, quite a good while. He's been out there a while.
About 5 years now.
Yeah, easily.
5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so you got used to that guaranteed paycheck. And every week or every month he's getting this money. So now it's up to...
They say there's a possibility that if things clear up, they may bring some of the guys back, which could be interesting.
I think it's a good... I think it could happen because WWE really bring people back. When they're ready, always bring people back, man.
Yeah.
So they'll be back, I think. I think they'll be back.
So
but right now they're trying to cut costs. I mean, it's terrible. WWE is a billion-dollar company, so I don't know I don't know where all this money's gone to, bro.
Well, the thing is, we know primarily a lot of the wrestlers that they let go, but it's also been reported that a lot of staff have been let go as well, backstage personnel, and a huge cost cutting measure. People are quite excited about the upcoming pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Now, even though it doesn't have any crowd, they've advertised that it's gonna feature. It's actually gonna be not shot at the Performance Center, but it's gonna be shot. For the first time ever, we're going to see anything like that at WWE's headquarters, Titan Tower. And they're going to have to climb Titan Tower to the top of the building and climb the corporate ladder and get them. I mean, it shows how much, I guess, economic...
Tell me one thing. Is that the only sport that's actually going ahead right now? Because I don't see nothing else apart from WWE on TV.
I mean, it only appears to be wrestling so far. I do believe there was a UFC fight kind of early on, but there hasn't been anything since. TNA, up to the last few weeks, all TNA's other shows were pre-tapes. So this week was the first time that they've did a show with no crowd that's been actually up to the time. Who knows when they filmed it? But for the last few weeks, they've all been pre-taped. So and we're at April 23rd now, saying that. So AEW, they've been running their shows. I haven't seen anything from NWA Power, and they're kind of the biggest ones. But in terms of basketball, has been cancelled. You know, most of the sports have been cancelled.
Everything.
But Donald Trump apparently came out and named Vince McMahon and said Vince is a financial, not like asset, but he's needed in the state of Florida because he brings him so much money, I guess. So they've got the government go ahead, but they say a couple of the wrestlers, they haven't announced who, or I think somebody contracted it, or somebody was sent home with symptoms and stuff. So are they putting their? What do you think about that? And like in a pandemic like this, we heard. Yeah, you back, dog.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they told us.
Oh, what's this? Yo.
Yeah, bro.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, but man, the call's coming true still, man. But
yeah, well, I was gonna say, what do you think of the situation with Roman Reigns? Now, he was actually supposed to face Goldberg at WrestleMania, but he said he ain't. You know, he's isolating because he had leukemia. He's already susceptible to certain things. And they put the bout on Braun Strowman. Do you think Roman was right for making that call? Because some people are saying he's got heat with the company because of it, and some are saying he's showing that he's not really committed. Do you think that they're even putting the wrestlers at risk, making them compete while this is going on?
They are, bro. They are, because I'm sure no one's been tested. Because no one's got the testing kits there. So I'm pretty sure none of them have been tested. They've just been, the owners just forcing them, look, we need to make content. You've got to go out there and you've got to do this job. You're getting paid, right? You're giving your money, you're still getting paid. So go out there and do it. So, we'll not be wrestling. The whole world is on standstill. How can the whole world be on standstill? And wrestlers are still body slamming one another, lying on top of each another, sweating on one another.
Yeah.
Come on, brother.
And I mean, it is crazy because everybody got to keep social distance 2 meters apart.
Yeah. So it makes no sense to me that men are giving bear hug and suplex and pinning and then jumping from next man to next man, bringing my sweat to him, your sweat to him. If the gyms are closed, then how can wrestling still be going on, bro? Yep.
So I mean, if you were signed with a company now that was on a guaranteed contract, what would you do if they came to you and they said, you've got to work at this time? Would you say no? Put because it's a tough one. We see wrestlers crying because they're not getting their job.
I know. You know what? To be honest, bro, I realize that once you're under that contract, bro, and you'll be scared to lose it, you'll go out there, bro. So I can't even laugh. I can't even cuss them or say they're wrong for doing it. Once you're on contract, and the big boss is saying you're getting paid still, so we're still working, so go out there and do this. I think more times you're gonna have to go and do it. You sign the contract, and if you refuse, you're gonna have a problem, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't think they want to refuse Vinnie Mac.
Yeah, so Reigns, what was it? Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns, yeah, he you know, who knows when he may be back. I don't think he'll be back until this stuff dies down, to be honest.
But I think Roman Reigns made a name, kind of made up. His name was already up there in a way where he'll come back when he's ready, man. They'll come back when he's ready. They won't just, yeah. There's an exception. The rest of them can't afford to not become.
You know, somebody like a Cedric Alexander or a Ricochet, they can't really say no. I mean, it's quite interesting because I've been watching some of the shows recently, and a lot of the younger or the up-and-coming talent have been getting the opportunity, more opportunity on TV now, but maybe is that because the bigger talent's not there? Is there preferential treatment, do you think, where they'll say, we need to keep the shows running, we're going to use some talent like the NXT talent or some of the younger talent, but, you know, are we going to see guys like, you know, Randy Orton on the show? Or are we going to see, you know, what those guys going to say?
Nah, you won't see them. You'll see the younger talent, the ones that's coming up, man. The ones that they got from the NXT to come up. I mean, now the ones that
Money in the Bank. We got Apollo Crews going in Money in the Bank. You ever met Apollo Crews on Uha Nation?
No, but you know what? I know he's been in England enough time, but I've never met him. I've never wrestled him. I've never met him face to face. Okay. I met him one time. Ironically, he had a match with Val AT. With Tyson. Yeah. MVK, nah.
Yeah.
How did it go?
If I remember, shit, I can't remember the finish because I know they had the square off and then they had a match, and this was when, you know, remember when you know, Marshall Leck, shouts out to Conor, man, when he was our young boy when we was running with the Black Diamonds, he went on to set up Kamikaze Pro Wrestling, and he actually booked the Uha Nation MVK match. So at the time, I was doing some music stuff, so I didn't really get the chance to be at the show. But they were building a lot of steam. I went to one of the other shows after where they were building the steam for it, and you know, I met Uha then, and you know, I spoke to him, he was cool, and you know, I think it was the rematch they had when I seen him, and if I remember right, Uha went over. But it was a good match. I mean, it was like match of the year in Kamikaze. All the rest, the fans loved it. There was like, you know, two solid brick house brothers like that, and athletic, and they were, you know, it was a great match. Because I think Uha, or Apollo Crews, I should say, he get to show some of his athleticism in WWE, but at the same time,
not too much, does it?
Not too much.
Yeah. I don't think they too much.
Nah. I mean, I was going to ask you this because, you know, we've seen a lot of changes. You know, we've seen Kofi Mania. We've seen Kofi get the strap because people said, oh, you know, wrestling can be, you know, racist or, damn, being a black wrestler.
That was a broken gesture kind of thing.
How do you have your experience been in the business, or do you find any credence to that, or do you think it's something that's overhyped? Because at the same time, we see guys like Booker T, who's gotten to do great in the business, but Booker, he's very much a company guy. He got his own stuff too, and you can tell Booker's a stand-up guy. But
check this out. Like I said, WWE Trial 2005. Me, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Rob Terry. So
Rob Terry, he's the one that went to Impact, right? He was from Wales.
Yeah. Impact, Rob Terry, all of us, 4 or 5 of us, all of them got through. Nobody said a word to me.
Wow.
Nobody said a word to me, FONZi. So this is me experiencing something at early time, 2005. All 5 of us, and no one said a word to me. All 4 of them went through.
I mean,
arm around them. Yeah, well done, son. Welcome aboard. I sat there like a lemon, bro, just sitting there. No one saying anything to me. No one saying it. I can't understand why. I'm just sitting there, bro. No one saying anything to me. Bro.
I mean, we know the wrestling business can be quite brutal. We see now, and I'm not negating what you just said, because I seen the other day Paige. There's a movie on this girl Paige's life, and she got a brother, and her brother was starting out trying to be wrestlers, but you know, they went to the tryouts, and the brother got cut, and you know, it was sort of he felt it was kind of cold, but it did show a bit of a rapport and a backwards and forwards. I think you had Vince Vaughn. He was playing somebody similar to John Laurinaitis.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he was at the trial, man. John Laurinaitis was right there.
John
Laurinaitis and Steve McMahon. Those are the only two faces I remember. Steve McMahon and John Laurinaitis.
Oh, you mean Shane? Shane.
Yeah, Shane McMahon and the Laurinaitis. What's it?
John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace, yeah.
Yeah, these two guys were at the trials, man. These two guys were like picking and choosing and trying to do what they're trying to do. So yeah, so I remember them two there. Nobody said a word to me, bro. That's
crazy. I mean, we know how the world is, and it's not a perfect world. It's a mixed up world as it is. But sometimes, in sports, we can see sometimes these things cross over. It's funny because, yeah, you still there, bro?
Yeah, I'm still there, bro.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I was watching AEW the other day, and you've got this brother called Suge Wilson, calls himself Sugar D. He's been on the industry for a few years, and he had a match on AEW, but because it's this lockdown, they're using, I guess, indie guys. It's not like jobbers, but to supplement in the talent. I guess that's my assumption. Yeah. But Chris Jericho Chris Jericho's on commentary with Tony Schiavone. I like Jericho, I like Schiavone, but
yeah, go on.
I felt as though Chris Jericho was making these little comments and he was putting no respect on Suge's name whatsoever. Now I understand Jericho's a heel announcer, but and he a heel character. Yeah. But yeah, he kept calling him like Suge Knight and all this other stuff, and making these little slight references and stuff. So maybe you do this job getting heat, you getting a reaction. But my point is, I remember I messaged Suge after and I said, "Hey Suge, it was good to see you at AEW, but they better put some respect on your name," because they kept calling him Pineapple Pete, and I was thinking, who's Pineapple Pete? And then when I googled Pineapple Pete, it was like this character with these pineapple hair, because Suge got the dreads and all that. So yeah, man. Oh, he's crazy, man.
Around, bro. That it exists the wrestling, man. It does. It does, man.
Well, I mean, I don't really get involved in the politics. I see life a certain way, but I do. This is why I keep WrestleBIZ open for everybody now. I have got some friends, shouts out to Black Wrestling Alliance and Black Wrestling Podcast and a few others that.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, they more but yeah, they center a certain way, but I still want to keep things open for everybody to hear what everybody got to say, man. At the same time, and I think that's wrestling's always been something like that. At the same time, despite anything, it's still been able to bring people together in ways where they probably wouldn't have been brought together before.
Yeah, I mean, WWE's got the UK version now, the NXT UK. So that wasn't there before. NXT UK was not there before. Everybody wanted to go to America and be WWE, but now they're branding to the UK to have WWE UK. So
guys like Pete Dunne, from Birmingham, Dan Maloney, other guys who came through the ranks at NSW as young kids as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
NSW, man. People don't know about NSW, FONZi. They don't know about that organization.
They don't know, man.
A lot of things through, man. Early days.
Yep. I remember being with Abbas at certain points, and some of these young wrestlers messaging, trying to get bookings, trying to, get just a platform to showcase their talent and stuff. So it's been dope to see some of them go on to do their thing, and me, I go to some of the shows backstage, and it was always a weird one for me because some of them will be all up in their ego when they see me backstage because they don't really know my knowledge of the business, or they just thinking, I'm just trying to get some rub or something, or I'm just trying to, but they don't. Over time, they started to understand a lot of them, respect to say, you know what, he actually know a lot about the business. He got a good mind for it.
Yeah, of course, man. Most definitely, man. But it's good that they've come and done this WWE UK. But I think I'm a bit old now, so that's why I don't, I think the youngsters, they're little 20-year-old and little teenagers are more likely to get a deal there,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it would be good to maybe mix it back up with them, man. Who knows? maybe we could bring the Black Diamonds back to NXT UK, but
the Black Diamonds, man, they wasn't ready for that. They wasn't ready for that. Was it Farouk's clan called? Farouk and The Rock.
The Nation of Domination, man. Yeah, they were brutal, you know.
That was us, bro. Me, MDK, and Big Rev.
Yep. I mean, and
you, bro. Yeah.
The crazy thing is the Black Diamonds. It was taking its own shape and formation in life, and it really transcended the business of just wrestling into the music and to other stuff what we was doing at the time. And
yeah, man, the Black Diamonds. But I don't think the hype was around like it is now, like it was like in the last couple of years.
Yeah, no, we've had a growth in the just the demand and the appreciation of the wrestling business that you're right wasn't there before. And it's been good to see and know that, you know, I remember even NSW, you know, shouts to Abbas and that as well, bringing over guys like, you know, he was making it happen. He wanted to bring over guys like Davey Richards, some of these guys quite early on.
Yeah. He was trying his best, man. Trying to do this thing properly. But it wasn't easy, bro. You see, wrestling promoters not easy. So them promoters, some of them, you know, that they really have to do the hard work to get the ticket sales in, man.
Of course. Well, I mean, even at this time, there's a lot of successful indie companies in the UK that went out of business, especially since WWE UK's come. I think Southside went out of business. I'm unsure if PCW was still running, but even like now in the current pandemic, a lot of these guys who run these wrestling companies, some of them still had jobs as well, so they were still building their company.
Yo. What was the thing that came on TV? Channel 5. It was, and you had all the stars. You had like Rey Mysterio, and everybody was all there, bro. The UK thing.
Was it the World of Sport? World of Sport.
No, it was the next thing from, bro. And I had Rey Mysterio, Calypso. I mean, Caribbean Kid, and all the Alberto Del Rio,
Carly Owen, all that.
In the UK, it was on TV, and then they pulled the plug, bro.
Okay.
It went back.
I think I vaguely remember it. You had like Grado and them cats in it.
Yeah, it went bust, bro. During the film, it went bust, bro.
Wow.
Didn't have the money, bro. Went bust. I forgot the name of what it's called, bro. But they had all the stars, and I wondered how the hell are they gonna pay all these stars? Rey Mysterio, you know what he charges? Alberto Del Rio, you know what he charges?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, how much crowd can you really bring in to pay off all these people?
Yeah, but that's the tough thing. It's the margins, and you know, looking into that's why WWE, they've got it at such an advantage point. When they've had it, you know, is that gonna remain the same? You know, everything's in question at the minute, you know, due to COVID-19.
Right. I don't know when anybody look right now. People don't want to sit next to you in the train. They don't want to even walk next to you. So I can't imagine a group of people 50,000 people bunched up together in some arena after people are really scared now. People are really mentally scared now to be next to anybody.
Yeah. You know, I think some of the average people will want it because a lot of people are saying they just want to go back to normal.
I think they're scared. I think the COVID has scared so much people, bro.
No, I understand it's gonna be very difficult, but I think most of them they want what they want more than their fear, if that makes sense. Like if they want their luxuries and their comforts, and they see like wrestling and that's their entertainment, that's their social comfort. So some of them they want that.
When the sun comes out, everybody goes to the park, bro. The police have to come and lock up the park.
There you go.
Stop people going in.
There you go.
Everybody just wants to get together again. So you're right.
And the thing is, I was watching something else which was quite interesting, and it was saying it's different for different cultures as well. But for some people who haven't had to live under the system to a level where it's completely restricting them from what they want to do. Now they feel like, oh, well, we can't be on lockdown, but they don't understand. A lot of people, they've been living on lockdown for years.
For years, bro. Imagine.
You know.
We had it so easy here, bro.
Yeah.
We were free to do what we want to do, come home what time we want to come home, do what we're in other countries, bro. We live like that all their life, bro.
Exactly.
I think maybe the war kind of countries, them kind of them kind of countries like war, you can't really come out the house because you don't know when the show's gonna hit them and right. So that goes to show we had it easy here, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, it's been definitely, man. So in terms of having it easy, but this the wrestling business, you know, this is Wrestle Biz. The wrestling business is not having it very easy.
Entertaining thing just doesn't look right, but I understand they have to do it because the big boss said you're getting paid, you got to go out there and do it.
Straight like that.
But then they always say that you might have 50 people in the crowd, but you got 100,000 people on TV watching. They always keep saying that. The TV, there's 100,000 people watching on TV, so that's the audience.
To be honest, their ratings have slipped, and they will continue to slip for the most part because, you know, a lot of you know, a lot of fans, they're not going to continue to tune in because they may tune in for a bit, but you know.
Really, the storylines are what? Because sometimes I tune in, I see the storyline. Sometimes it's just nonsense, brother. Like people getting married in the ring and shit like that.
I think it's a mix of the stuff. Yeah, you know, a mix of the storyline stuff because when, you know, not insult people's intelligence, but it can be, it's one of those things, it's subjective intelligence where some people may watch it and think, okay, this is just stupid. And others may watch it and say, okay, well, you know, I'm entertained by it. So it all depends on, I guess, the individual's need to be entertained. And,
but sometimes it overplays everything, bro. The storyline stuff, the gimmicks, man. It's too much, bro. Too much, bro.
Yep.
Well, this is when I tune in sometimes and I see it. It's all promo. Oh. I don't know, bro, but what? Empty stadium has to be done because the big boss said it has to be done and they're getting paid. Or you're going to be like my man, Rockstar Spud, and get cut and then you're going to be crying. So,
well, and the thing with Rockstar and those guys, some of them, like Rockstar Spud particularly, he's been cut and he still said he's going to continue to work a few more matches on the way out in the Cruiserweight Classic tournament. Some say a sign of good faith that maybe shows that he's still a company guy and he'll be willing to go back if necessary. So,
but my question is, if WWE cuts you, where do you go from there? Apart from the new AEW thing, where do you go? If they don't take you on, where do you go from there?
The AEW Impact, some may have the opportunity to go Japan, New Japan.
Impact don't pay no money, bro. Impact stopped paying people from a long time. They don't pay nothing. Impact Wrestling TNA has just gone down to the...
That's why they lost a lot of their talent, yep.
Yeah, they don't pay, bro. AEW is fresh. I think AEW is doing that big contract, but whether they want you on board or not, I don't know. If they say no, we're going to go. Yeah,
I'm not sure if AEW's paid. Quite a few guys that we know from the UK and the European circuit are in AEW now. They've got Jimmy Havoc. He used to do like the hardcore death matches and all that. He's in AEW.
I know they're giving that big money over there, but that's the only thing.
I don't think everybody's gonna be on big money contracts. Only, you know, the top tier talent. But no disrespect to a guy like Jimmy Havoc, but I don't think they're gonna be paying him big money just because they're you know, they got a billionaire owner or whatever. But they've signed Shanna. You remember this Shanna, the Portugal girl. Portugal.
The girl. Where's she now?
She's in AEW.
Yeah.
But not on regular on their flagship show, just appearing and, you know.
So to me, it looked like if WWE don't want you there, then you're in trouble. So you're in trouble because I don't see no company that's going to really give you what you probably was getting over there to that level. You might have to take a pay cut, or you might not. You just could. Where did you kill Jackson?
Yep.
Since he got cut from WWE, I haven't seen that man ever since, bro. I always wondered what happened to Ezekiel Jackson.
Big Zeke. I don't know. He may have done a few things on the Indies, but nothing really since then. Yeah.
So that money, that contract he was getting with WWE, no other company can give him that same kind of contract because no other indie is gonna have that kind of contract. So it's like, where do they go to after WWE? Where? So
you feel as though there's like a ceiling, they hit that roof, and then after that, there's where do they go?
Where did they go? What guarantees have they got now? All the guarantees you had is gone now. There's no permanent contract. There's no. You're living by paycheck to paycheck now on the indie circuit.
Yep.
So it's going to be shell shock
for a lot of them. Well, with that being said, it's going to be an interesting time just seeing how the next few weeks and months unfold in the wrestling game, and especially as we lead up to Money in the Bank and some of these pay-per-view. I'm excited, not for the pay-per-view, but I want to see inside how much of Titan Towers they show, and people fighting on the roof. It's quite elaborate. Like they're really pulling out all the stops to keep their audience. So it's sort of like if the ship's going down, Vince seems like one of those people. He gonna go down with the ship and he gonna fight and bring it down to the knees while it go down with it. And I'm not saying it like WWE going down, but
it's a shell shock for everybody, man.
Yeah,
but it's still going on though. WWE's still on.
They're
TV,
still on. It's like the Truman Show with the guy who was the director, and he was like, "Keep it running to the end, to the end, to the end." That would be that's Vince and WWE. They gotta run that shit to the wheels fall off.
It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You have to keep it rolling. Keep the camera rolling. No matter what. No matter. Keep the camera. Keep the stuff.
I mean, from we've seen, legit deaths on the shows and stuff, and they haven't stopped them. That kind of go to show you, So
yeah, that's the wrestle though.
Yep.
Exactly. So when you ask me the question, I understand. I thought, wow, why are they doing it? Then I get it. If the big boss, if you sign a contract and getting that money, and the big boss says the show still goes on, you can't say no.
You have to.
You can't.
Yep.
If you say no, you must be a big player within the company that you're confident enough that they need you more than you need them.
Like Roman Reigns.
There we go. So he can pull that role. He can pull that card.
The big guy.
I ain't coming.
Yeah.
Go. But everybody else, you got to fall in order and follow the orders, bro.
And sometimes pick up the slack even more. We could see, some people may say it could be time for a new opportunity, but do you want the opportunity presented to you like that? He used to say, if they take somebody now like a female wrestler like a Dana Brooke and they say, okay, let's put her over because no one else is around. But, there are other girls around. But because sometimes opportunities come when nobody else won't step up. So just like Braun Strowman getting the strap, he wasn't in line to get that title. But because Reigns, they needed to put somebody in, he was able to get in. But is that win gonna mean that much? Like, years down the line, the people gonna be saying Braun Strowman and Goldberg at WrestleMania, or would it be like, are you like a paper champion?
Yeah, because of the circumstances, bro, and how and where and the footage. When the footage comes out again, you're gonna rise, empty stadium, no crowd, no atmosphere, and you're gonna be like, that's when you want it, and it won't be. Yo, bro, like the hell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't feel real, bro. It won't feel real. So that's why if you're winning anything now, when you look back, it's gonna look so shit. It's gonna look so shit. Hopefully, when things get back to normal, you still be the champion, and then you can say, yeah. But right now, it's a bit dead, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, man. But with that being said, as we said, we'll see how things continue over the next few weeks and how what improvements, how things change, and we're gonna chop it up, man. But it's definitely an interesting time. As much as the product may not be what it used to be, it's just the fact that it's still going on is still gonna get a bit of audience because the audience is still gonna tune in to see are they gonna do anything different? Is something gonna happen?
Yeah,
so
keep it at home, bro. Keep it at home so the board are gonna watch it.
Yeah. And if not, they got the WWE network, and that's got all the archives and everything on there, so they're gonna be on the network.
They might get some new fans because people at home are gonna watch it that won't normally watch it because they're at home now. So
yeah, it's possible, but if they watch it and it sucks, they'll turn it straight off.
Yeah,
the thing about wrestling, it's always been quite niche. So some people didn't really like it at the best of times. If they weren't a wrestling fan, they'd look and say, "Oh, it's fake or it's this." But like now, if they see it with like that, they'll be like, "What the hell? These people?
What the hell is this?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the feeling they'll get, especially when there's no crowd.
With no crowd, no atmosphere, because that's one of the main aspects.
Yeah.
You know,
people always want to know what makes people go, oh, wow. That's when people are interested. Wow, why are the people reacting like that? But when there's no reaction,
exactly.
People are not interested in the move. When they're doing the moves, there's no crowd. Anyway, I don't know, man. But the show must go on, man.
Yep. But that being said, man, the show will go on, and we're gonna go on onto the next episode. This Wrestle Biz. We're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah, FONZi, man. Good to see you again, brother, man. NSWB.
You already know, man. And the thing is, the beauty about BD Black Diamonds, it always transferable with BD about that, man. So we still be we still throw the B in the D, man. That for life. So yes, sir.
Let MVK come out of the hole, bro, and then maybe we'll see what's going on.
You know, MVK soon, man. Yeah, yes, sir. So things gonna change, man. So with that being said, man, we're gonna tune y'all back in next time on the Wrestle Biz, man. We're getting it popping with Big Tiny Iron, you know, and it's all groovy, man. You already know.
Okay, FONZi, about that. Cool.
Yes, sir. You already know, fam. Peace.
King of the Ring, King Cosmic, rocks it, bomb spit. Just got it off a call, made a call to Tiny Iron, say you know we're gonna brawl when we touch down. We the champions, they let them know, whole team be rocking scandalous.